Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be the Position 4 tier list for patch 7.30E, and just like I said in the other ones, I bet the patch is going to come out any day now. I didn't think there was actually going to be this big of a drought between patches, but we've had it, so who knows, it might be another month between patches, but the meta has kind of evolved over the last 3 months, so this is just the updated meta as I see it, so let's just jump into this Position 4 tier list. Before we jump into the video, I just wanted to say if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all of those kinds of things, it really helps. And if you want to see more content into the future, please consider clicking the Patreon link down below and going to my Patreon, signing up for coaching, or just supporting me in general for that $5 or $10 a month. It really, really helps because for whatever reason, YouTube has not monetized my channel. So I make absolutely no money for making all this content. So in order to keep up making content in the future, if you guys really like it and you want to see more of it, please consider supporting if you can. Now that we got that out of the way, let's jump back to the video. Now, before I get into it, like I said in the other videos, I basically make this video by, putting everything where my, intuition says, and then looking at stats, both Dota buff are also in the trends tab, and also Dota 2 Pro Tracker, and as well as the picks and bans from pro matches, and that's how I figure it out, and I mashed it all together. So it is a little bit subjective, but it's also based a lot on statistics and the highest level of Dota in like Divine and Immortal brackets as well. So that's how I come up with this list, and let's just jump into it. And first, we're going to say that the S-tier heroes here are Weaver and Spirit Breaker, and first we're going to look at Weaver. Weaver has just been out in the way, the best 4 position right now, other than Spirit Breaker, which is also sort of an offlane. Weaver offlane's not really a thing, so just the isolated 4 position, Weaver is just the best right now. It's because his bugs are just so good. I think this is really the spell that allows him to be good. It's just so annoying. Like, you just bully all other supports in the game with this spell. When you get them, when you get the swarm, when you get your bugs on the enemy, not only is it great in team fights to just pick off cores and stuff when you're, around your off lane, mid, whatever, and you're helping your cores do more damage, but you can pretty much solo kill, 5 positions, other 4 positions, these kinds of things. You're just a very, very annoying hero to deal with, especially later in the game, but also in the lane. Like, just 1 point in these bugs just allow you to just do so much. And then the fact that you can get this shard that allows, revealing invis heroes, it just basically counters a lot of different invisible stuff in the game, like items that you could buy, or obviously any hero that has an invisible spell, anything like that. It's just so good, and you offer just everything together. You just actually can do so much damage and just provide so much in fights. You can provide a lot of, obviously, you're hard to kill yourself with your escape, with your time-lapse and all that kind of stuff. You can do Roche really well, and then later, once you get even more items, you can get your Ags, and then you just sit in the back, and you offer a save. Basically, just, you can use, obviously, your ultimate on your carry or your mid player, whatever hero that is your frontliner or the person that's going to go in, or whatever person, the enemy needs to jump on, whatever vital hero is on your team, you pretty much just have a perfect, easy save for them. You can just sit in the back, you have decent cast range, you're a range hero, you're pretty survivable, you're pretty, it's hard to catch you out or really see you with your Sakuchi, so you can be in a perfect position almost every time, especially with your move speed. It just allows you to basically give your carry or your mid player, or whoever's important on your team, a free extra life. It's just so good, and it cannot be counted out. Along with your laning stage and everything else that you offer, and the ability to kill supports in the mid game and stuff like this, this hero is just so good right now as a 4 position, even though it doesn't really offer a stun, which is very, very unique. Usually you need a stun in your supports, but this is one that doesn't offer it, and it's still very good. Next, we're going to look at Spirit Breaker. I already talked about Spirit Breaker in the off-lane video, and I think that Spirit Breaker is great as an off-lane, as a core. I mean, it's even been played like mid sometimes, which is kind of crazy, and I think it's also a very good, viable 4 position. I just don't think it's as maybe good. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because you're not going to get as many items as a 4 position, but you're still really good. Like, everything that Spirit Breaker does, he does so well, even from the 4 position, and you just get like 1 or 2 items. And these days, 4 positions, they can get a ton of items. So, you start snowballing, you start picking people off, and the worst part is, they have to go Lincolns, or they have to itemize, or they have to play around the Spirit Breaker, but it's a Spirit Breaker 4 position. They also have to, worry about the off lane and the mid player and the carry and all this stuff. You just do so much with this hero. It's so crazy. And the fact that you just offer so much pickoff potential, global pickoff potential, and you're so hard to kill from this 4 position, it can't be beat. It's just such good hero right now. It's just insane how good this hero is. So those are the 2 S-tier heroes. I think that's pretty straightforward. These heroes are getting picked a bunch. Weaver gets picked and banned like every single game in the pros. It's just really good right now. So that's S-tier. The next, kind of everything from here, I feel like the top tier heroes are very easy to like identify. And then everything else, it's kind of just like give or take. It just depends. I think this is a pretty good list, but I could move stuff around a lot. It just depends on, a lot of opinion here, especially once we get into the lower tiers. But I think this A tier is pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and pretty obvious from here based on picks and bans. Earth Spirit has gotten a lot of play. He's a lot more popular. I think he's really good right now. He's in a great spot. If you are an Earth Spirit player, I think he's a good hero to pick, or at least to learn as well. Nyx, also a very good hero, very good for scouting, all the same reasons that Nyx is very good. I just think Nyx is a hotly contested hero. He also allows you to, catch a lot of people out that you otherwise wouldn't. So a lot of good heroes like Tinker, like Queen of Pain, a lot of these heroes that have AoE abilities or abilities that, will stun them with a carapace that you need to catch out. It's very good to have a Nyx on your team so you can catch them out. You can also scout them and stuff in the trees and things like that. He's just a very good hero all around. Next would be Snapfire. Snapfire has pretty low win rates overall, but she's picked a lot and she's hotly contested in the pros. That's why I put her up here. Now, I will say briefly at this point, when it comes to Snapfire and Lion and some of these other heroes, it's weird. I didn't put Jakiro on this list, even though Jakiro has kind of been hotly picked. He's actually been picked as mid sometimes, but I put him on the 5-position list. Sometimes I haven't included Snapfire on the 4-position list. It just depends on what's happening there. And it could be debated because a lot of the 4 and 5-position heroes can kind of, go across. A lot of 5-position heroes can play 4. Not every 4-position can play 5, but a lot can. So Snapfire is one of them. But Snapfire is just really hotly contested right now. I really like this hero. I think this is a great hero in pubs. I think it's just really good. If you know how to play this hero, you just offer so much. Wave clear with your Q, a good stun, positioning ability, minus armor, a good teamfight ultimate from range. This hero is just really good overall. Next is Marana. If you know how to play Marana, this can be a very good hero. I just think the ultimate is just, you can never underestimate a full team of invisible heroes running around, basically a free smoke with your ultimate, or just also in team fights. It's just so annoying, and nobody buys dust. Honestly, even at my level, people don't buy dust enough. So Marana's just really good for Marana things. Next is Dark Willow. Dark Willow, I think, is really good right now. Just hotly contested. She's good for a lot of different reasons. I think she just can be super annoying. She can dish out a ton of damage later if it goes late. For whatever reason, she's just been hotly contested. Skyrath Mage is actually up there. I didn't expect this, but when I look at the stats, Skyrath Mage is legitimate. He's very good right now. And fairly viable as a 4 position. So I just think Skyrath is up here based on the statistics. I might put him in B, but it just seems like Skyrath is pretty crazy right now as a 4 position. Maybe this is a little bit too high for him, but hey, this is what his win rate says. In Dota 2 Pro Tracker, he's pretty good right now, so I put him up there. Next would be Marcy. I think Marcy can be off lane or 4 position. As a 4 position, this hero is really good, though, because her abilities are just good in general. Honestly, it's so annoying to lane against a Marcy as a carry or even as a 5 position. She just dominates the lane. She jumps on you, throws you back. It's just like a guaranteed kill. This hero is so annoying. I just don't know later in the game how good the hero is, at this point, especially as a 4 position with no items and stuff, but it still can be super annoying and catch people out, and it's still kind of crazy. So I just think the way it dominates lanes, it just can't be counted out. So it's up there, especially with the win rate and everything. It just has to be considered as a good hero in the A tier. And next is Lion. Lion is kind of like Snapfire in that the win rate is pretty low overall, just because so many people pick it and they're not always that effective. But overall, this hero is hotly contested in the pros. Gets picked a good amount. The win rate's not great, but I think it's just picked so much that you have to put it in this A tier. Just it does so much. It offers pick off, good damage, a hex and a stun, and then also with the shard, it's just really good right now. I think Lion's at a good spot. And maybe it's not as good as maybe it once was, but I still think it's fairly decent up here for A tier. Next is a B tier. We have Treant Protector. I believe Treant Protector and Shadow Demon, they're kind of at interesting spots because I think these are both kind of like 5 position heroes. Maybe Shadow Demon is more of a 4, so I would put him up here. I think if I go to the 5 position, I'm not going to actually spoil it, but if I go to the 5 position, I think these guys are a little bit higher because they're higher in the 5 position. They've been played more as 5 and they have a better win rate there, but they're pretty good heroes overall. I just think in some ways you don't want these heroes to be your 4 position because they're not as good in the 4 position role as they are with 5. So that's why they're down here. Next, we have like Earthshaker, Bounty Hunter, Tusk, Clockwork. We have like Rubik and Hoodwink. I think all these heroes, I know I'm just kind of skipping through them, but they're just good 4 positions for the classic reason that 4 positions are good. They offer stuns, they offer some control. Bounty Hunter is kind of a unique one. He's actually been played a lot more. He's actually pretty decent recently. I know he's kind of weird and he doesn't get picked all that often, but when he does, he has a pretty high win rate. So because of that, I put him here with the Ags and everything that you can get on this hero. It's pretty good. Tusk can be a kind of beast. I think there was a Chinese game that I watched recently where Tusk was just absolutely obliterating people. He like became the carry as the 4 position. Clockwork is another one that I think is like Shadow Demon and Treant, where he's actually a better 5 these days. He's just been picked as a 5 position a bunch these days, not as much as a 4 position. So I'll probably have him on the 5 position list. Rubik, just a classic one, middle of the pack, always decent, but never the best. And Hoodwink, I think, is pretty good. Hoodwink could even go up here a little bit, but I just think her win rate is not the best overall, so that's why I kind of put her in the B tier. Next, we're going to look at C and D tier. These are kind of like I said before in all the other lists. It feels like S is the best. A is stable, but just a little bit better than the stable ones that are B. And then C, it's like viable, but not that great. And then D is just a little bit less viable than even these, but you could pick them, but they're just not as good. Lena is a typical 4 position, but is just more of a mid these days. You just don't see her much as 4 position. She's just kind of too squishy, gets caught out too much of food for the enemy. That's kind of the same thing with Wind Ranger. She just needs items. I think she's in a pretty bad spot overall, but you could potentially play her as 4 and scale. Invoker's kind of the same thing as these, more of like a mid hero that's played in the 4 position and can do some stuff, but isn't the best. Phoenix, I think, is pretty okay, if you know how to play Phoenix and you're good, but right now, I think there's just enough heroes to have enough attack speed that it just makes the egg not as good as it once was. Elder Titan is kind of in a weird spot. I think Elder Titan was really good, obviously at TI and everything, but just has kind of fallen out of favor for whatever reason. This hero just, I think, was nerfed a little bit, but even so, it just feels like sometimes this hero just falls out of favor, and then every TI or every big tournament or something, it just comes back around. Monkey King is a similar thing. I think Monkey King is kind of viable, but for whatever reason, his win rate's like bottom 10. It's just very, very bad. You can play it, as 4 position. I just don't love it, and I don't think the win rate really shows that it's not that great. Next, we have D tier. Pugna is okay. I think Pugna's just decent, but it's really not been seen in 4 position that much. Shadow Shaman, he's just at a bad spot. I mean, Lion's just better than Shadow Shaman. He's okay, but it's just such a weird hero because he's so slow, and he doesn't trade very well. I mean, he does have high damage, but he's just so slow, so squishy. He's just not great. Pango, more of a core hero, but just not at the best spot right now. Just a weird hero. It's hard to know where to really put him. He's more of like an off lane, but he's just kind of in a weird spot. He was kind of at a good spot, I think, a few months ago, but he's kind of fallen off. Silencer, more of a 5 position, but also has fallen off a little bit as a 4 position, especially. I don't really think you want a Silencer 4. That's why I put Silencer down here, because Silencer 4 just feels bad. If you're going to pick Silencer, you're going to pick Silencer because, as we'll see, is a little bit of spoilers, in the 5 position for the next video, is that Bane is the best hero for 5 positions. It's like the number 1. So that's why you want Silencer, but usually you want Silencer as a counter in the way that it's a 5 position. You don't really want it as a 4 position. It's not the best as a 4 position. It's viable, but I don't think it's that good. And then we have Vengeful Spirit, another one that's kind of like weird. This hero is at a weird spot. It was kind of good, but now it's fallen off. It just needs some items, but it's not the best offlaner, so it's a weird spot. But if you were going to play it as a support, you probably want to play it as a 4 so you can get some items, get Ags and stuff like that, and almost be like another core. And then Veno, it's kind of a similar way. You just need items, but it just feels really bad to have a Veno 4 that's not initiating, not tank. It just does nothing, and it doesn't get items, and it doesn't do anything, so it just feels really bad. And then finally, we have the F tier here. This is just classic, keep their lights at a terrible spot. Ricky, I don't think, is actually as good. I thought Ricky might be good a few months ago when the patch came out with the dart, but Ricky's just crap right now. Enigma's not good. It's just going to take too much space. I don't like it. I don't love Pudge either. I think he's still at a terrible spot, although I wish Pudge would be better. Sniper, Zeus, Techies, never pick Techies, but these 2 heroes just not really good at 4 position right now. I think Sniper and Zeus are better actually as a core right now, whether it's carry or mid. So that is my 4 position. Let me know if you guys disagree or you think I should put, any 5 positions that I missed on this list, or any heroes that I missed that should be on this list that you can think of that I just accidentally missed. I think the 4 position and 5 position, the support heroes are really weird because almost any hero can play support. So it's just a matter of, who should I, should I put Gyro on here? Gyro's one that's I maybe could put him on here because he is kind of viable as a support. It's just really weird. So, but this is the tier list that I think is pretty good. I think these heroes are pretty obvious, and then these ones are always good, stable heroes that you can pick for the 4 position. So that's the 4 position tier list for patch 7.30E. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments about what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all of those kinds of things. Go to the links below to my Patreon to help support me so I can keep doing this, as well as request coaching if you want that, and request a replay review in the Discord with the link down below. I do those reviews every Friday on my Twitch, which is also down below as well. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.